Check out this video if you want to see the Springbok team to face the All Blacks. Hey guys, welcome back to SkinnyBru Rugby. So as you can see, I'm actually recording in a different place. It is actually lunchtime at work, so I'm recording at the office since Rassie's team actually was announced really early this morning, 8 o'clock over here in South Africa. So I decided I can actually fit in a video during the day today. If you want to see any more videos like this, where I cover the teams that are playing this weekend, please hit that subscribe button. As we go on to the rest of the international season, we will be covering more of that. Here is the first team that Rassie picked to play against the All Blacks this year. At props, we have the two Stormers. We have Kitshoff and Malherbe. I do think they will do well. Kitshoff, he is probably the best prop we have at the moment in South Africa. And then as for Malherbe, he's been good this season. Nyakane really put up his hand last week to announce himself as another contender for that spot. He really played well for me. So Malherbe will really need to prove his worth this week if he wants to remain in that jersey. At hooker, it's the obvious choice, Malcolm Marx. There's no better option at number 2 for us. Expect a lot of turnovers from him. He's very good at the scrums. Lineout has been a bit of a problem for him, but I do think with him linking up to the two locks that are world class, by the way, Etzebeth and Mostert, that would be a good combo, especially with Mostert, who has played with Marx at lock in the Lions team before and at the Springbok level, of course, as well. So I think that combo between them is going to work a little bit better. Etzebeth, he had a reasonably good game last week against the Wallabies, but to me he's at his best when he isn't captaining. So then he adds a bit of grunt to the team. He does he's like an enforcer in that team, and you really need a guy like him. You think of him like we always had with Bakkies Botha. He is that guy we need in the team. Along with Mostert, who's a little bit more calm, but he's that guy that can also give very strong runs, and he's kind of like a loose forward on the team as well. So that's a good option to have those two locks on the field. One that likes to run a lot and gets into rucks and stuff, and another one that likes to get into very strong runs and goes into the opposition. Talking about strong runs though, the loose forwards, Kwagga Smith, Pieter-Steph du Toit and Duane Vermeulen. Those two guys, Pieter-Steph du Toit and Vermeulen, they give massive impacting runs. Especially Duane Vermeulen, if you kick at him, he likes doing cover work at the back. He is going to run it back at you. Both of them are very good tacklers as well. Kwagga Smith, not that he isn't a good tackler, he more gives the option for turnovers in ruck time, and he is the fastest forward in our team, I would say. So he brings a bit of speed to our forward pack. He's like having another centre on the field. Kwagga has proved himself this year in the Super Rugby, and I think he'll have a stellar game this week. It's now his chance to put up his hand to get that number 6 jersey while Kolisi is injured. Pieter-Steph du Toit, last year he had an amazing game against the All Blacks. I remember he had something like 25 tackles, and everyone just remembers that photo where he is hugging Mbunambi and crying after that massive game he had. So I'm just looking forward to see that again. Vermeulen as captain, I don't think anyone has issues with that. Not many will have issues with him. He would make a great captain to the side. The 9-10 combo, it's also an obvious pick. We have the Klerk and Pollard. The Klerk, we know what we get from him. He's a fast player. He likes swinging the ball wide quickly. He disturbs the scrum half of the other team. He makes big tackles on big guys, and he would want to show what he can offer still with Jantjies and Reinach, who actually had very good games last week, especially Herschel Jantjies. Pollard, he had a good season for the Bulls. He's on form at the moment, and I have no issue with his pick at all. He is a good kicker at goal as well. Then the centre pairing, we have the Allender and The combo hasn't been used a lot actually. Usually we have the Allender and Kriel, Esterhuizen and Kriel, or Esterhuizen and So the Allender combo hasn't been used a lot. The Allender, he always gets a lot of stick from fans. I know a lot of people say he just runs and he never passes, or he gives weird runs and stuff like that. But from this season's stats, what I can look at Rugby Pass is mostly 50-50 from him after this season. 50% of the time he was passing, 50% of the time he was running into the opposition. And I must say, this year his game has actually developed a bit. He was kicking a bit as well. He really was looking up a bit and passing wide. And I know sometimes he gives funny runs where he runs cross field, but that guy never gets tackled backwards. If you want to look at a game from a centre that never gets tackled backwards, that is your game to look at. Yes, he doesn't play a conventional number 12 role, so I think that's a big issue a lot of people have with him, and he doesn't pass a lot, but like I said, this season he has actually developed a bit. First thing I need to compare him with is obviously Esterhuizen. Between the two, I have to say the Islander has had the better season on form for sure between the two of them. Then obviously I need to compare him with Steyn as well. A lot of people want Francois Steyn to get into the team. Look, Steyn said himself earlier this week, he said he was tired after that little bit of game time he got. He doesn't feel like he is up to the starting team fitness yet. And he also has said that he has been struggling to get into the structures a bit and so on, because he needs to get used to a whole new team environment as well. So ideally, if he came in last year and has been playing in the structures a little bit, I would have obviously probably said he should also start at 12, but at the moment I don't think that combo is there yet. Pollard and the Islander has been playing a lot together recently, and that combo is growing and it has been working. So I think at the moment the Islander is the better choice at 12 between the three options we have. Maybe you have another option. Who would you have picked at 12? I know that's a controversial spot for everyone. And for me, Steyn is a good option from the bench. He can play all over the park actually, so he's a good option. He can fit in anywhere where we have an issue, and obviously he can kick the ball from 60-70 meters away, so that's good. Outside centre, he's had a good season this year. Kriel did play well last week, but he is still recovering a bit from an injury he had. So with you get strong tackles. He is very good at tackles. He doesn't miss a lot of those. So I'm pretty happy with him at outside centre. The back three, Mapimpi, Kolbe and Leroux. Mapimpi, Diantye is injured at the moment, so he's actually the only specialist left wing we have in the team at the moment. He is a great try scorer though, so you can't fault him for that. He is going to do well with that department. Kolbe, what a season he's had with Toulouse, actually winning the top 14, so he's also on form at the moment. His rugby pass ranks at the moment, I like looking at rugby pass ranks by the way. They really have a good method of comparing current form with players. He's ranked at right wing. He's ranked the number 1 right wing in the top 14, the number 2 right wing in the Heineken Cup, and the number 3 right wing in the world. So at the moment they're saying he's the 3rd best right wing in the world, only being behind Noel from England and Havili, who actually is playing fullback at the moment for the Crusaders. Most of Kolbe's games for Toulouse has been at right wing though. Some of them has been on fullback as well. Tackling, a lot of people say they don't think he's going to do well with the bigger guys from New Zealand, but I strongly disagree with that. He is a very strong tackler. This season's stats for him, he made 93 out of his 115 tackles this season, so that's very good for a wing. Wingers usually are expected to make 50% of their tackles, or even world-class wingers or guys that are really in form at the moment, like guys like Sevo Rees, he's expected to get like 1 of his 5 tackles in the game. So with Kolbe, he is a very strong tackler for me. He also is good at turnovers. He made 16 turnovers this season, but his good stat he has is he beat 101 defenders this season in his 28 games. He just can't be tackled. At fullback we have Leroux. He's between Gelant and Leroux. I must say he is the better option. He did play well last year to me. This season with the Wasps as well, it's been okay with him. But Gelant, I wouldn't put him at 15 anyway. He didn't have a great game last week. He made a few errors, kicks that he put out straight. He wasn't in position a lot of times where the Wallabies kicked and then he had to retreat again. So I think Leroux is still the better option between the two. Then we get to the bench. Mbunambi, Beast, Nyakane. It's the front row that played last week against the Wallabies. they did well for me. Beast, he has that experience he brings from the bench, so that's great to add him in there as well. Nyakane, as I said, he played well last week, so I'm expecting a big performance from him when he comes on. RG Snyman, some might argue that he should have started this game. Look, he could, he is capable of it, he has the form as well, he is playing well. But I think what he offers from the bench is what we need. He can really change a game around with that offloads. He is very good with his hands. So I think for him to be an impact player, that's exactly what we want from him. To just bring something to the game at the end of the game. So I'm happy with him there. I expect a big thing from him when he comes in for his last 20 minutes or so. Francois Lowe on the bench. He's another guy we have to make turnovers if we might need him later on in the game. Herschel Yankees, he really proved himself last week against the Wallabies, scoring those 2 tries he did on debut. He's probably only going to play a couple of minutes though, but he will want to do his best to prove himself against the world's best. He's a very similar player to Faf, so I think that also adds something that we don't lose that aspect of our game. Francois Steyn, he can play number 10, 12, or if we need him, 15 or 13. So I think that's good. He can kick over from a mile away. So in the end of the game, we might need those 3 points. So that's a good option for me as well. Kriel for 13 or wing, that's a good option as well. He played well last week. With him, he's coming back from injury, so I would also bench him, not to give him too much game time, because I think he's probably our first choice, number 13 still, depending on what does this weekend, but I think it's a good option not to play him too much at the start. So I think this is a great squad, guys. It's going to be a team that gives a lot of strong carries with the forwards, and every now and then just release the backline to run with the ball. So I expect a lot of tackle busts from the team and a lot of tackles like we had last week. I'm going to do my official prediction only when the All Black team is out though. So I'm probably expecting that to be tomorrow or the day after. Let me know your thoughts on the team. Let me know who you would have picked or what changes you might have made. And remember to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. Cheers.